Hey everyone, it's me again, and this segment, I guess you could call it, your segment, is called Real Talk. And what I mean by that is this is about my health. And this is to kind of update about what's going on with my health. I know there's a few of you that have asked how my health is going with my iron and my sugar and stuff like that. Because yes, I still have been having issues again, but to start out, I'm just gonna let anybody that's watching this that doesn't know, um, I in 2021, I believe it was. Maybe 2020, 20. I don't remember. It was 2020 or 2021. I had a gastric sleeve done, and if you don't know, I was over 300 pounds, and I I made the decision to have it done. I was taking care of my father, and it was taking a toll on me health wise because, you know, he was getting to the point where I had to be more physical, as in picking him up and stuff like that, and my weight was just not helping me at all. No, don't get me wrong, I was still going. I don't know how I was going, but I was still going. But I decided, I talked to him and I talked to my mom and my husband and stuff like that, and we decided I was going to go ahead and get a gastric sleeve. And I did. And when I got that, it was a blessing. It really was. But when I got it, I lost 100. I think I want to say almost 125 pounds, 130 pounds. Um, I'm trying to think. It might be a little bit more than that. I'm not really sure, but when I lost that weight, yes, most people say you lost it really quick. I lost it probably within a year and a half. I mean, I didn't lose it like some people. Some people lose that weight like within 6 months or something. It took me a little bit, and I was okay with that. Had no issues with that. So I think it took me about a year, almost a year and a half, to really lose that weight, because the lowest weight I had gotten to was like 172, 170. Um, and I may have even hit one like in 165 at one point, but I went right back up. Because I don't know if my body was just like, nope, that's too low for you. I don't know. Anyway, I went back up, and I stayed that way for a while, and then I started having issues with my sugar, but I've always had issues with my sugar. Um, I have hypoglycemia, and I've always had it my whole life, where my sugar would drop. And most people would say, "Well, you need to eat." I get it. Yes, I do. I know you need to eat, and but when push comes to shove, and I had this surgery, I think it put a lot of things in overdrive for my body. And not knowing, I probably should have been diagnosed with diabetes a long time ago. And with my grandmother and my dad both having diabetes, and like I said, if you know my story with my dad. My dad had diabetes, and he basically lost both of his legs, was going blind, had kidney failure, and he ended up, dying from kidney failure because he took himself off of dialysis. So, being a diabetic in our family um, is huge. And so we ended up, my doctor tested me, and I actually have, which is called, it's LADA, and it's the 1.5 diabetes, and it's where you have both like type 1 and type 2, which is kind of confusing to me, because I don't really have a lot of highs, or that I actually see that I have the highs, because my lows are too frequent to even worry about the highs. And what I mean by that is I dropped to the point where I would pass out. So that was going on with my life. And then I started having my iron was really low, and I've always had low iron. I'm anemic, and I've had that my whole life too. So that's something I had been struggling with. So that is something that has been going on in my life. And that's why I ended up, like I said, I got the gastric sleeve to help with my weight, and to be better, for my health, to be able to take care of my dad. And I was doing great. I really was. And, but when my dad passed away, things kind of changed for me. It was like my body decided to put a halt on everything. I was in overdrive the whole time when I was taking care of my dad, that I never really saw the side effects that were going on with me. And I'm not blaming the gastric sleeve on this at all, because this is something I had, and it just one of those, things that the gastric sleeve just kind of opened the doors for a lot of things to finally be in front of me and say, hey, this is what's wrong with you. You need to fix them. Now that your dad is not here, you have to start fixing yourself, because you started fixing yourself while your dad was here, but you didn't, keep doing this. Well, now I'm having to, and I'm paying the price on some things. And like I said, I ended up getting on, I was on a whole bunch of different medications to help with my sugar, and I had really bad side effects with certain ones. So my doctor ended up putting me on Ozempic. And most people, be like, a lot of people take that for weight loss. Well, yes. Guess what? I did the surgery for weight loss, so I didn't really need it to do that for weight loss. It was more for my sugar and for my diabetes. And so I ended up being on that, and I was on it for about 2 years, and till now. And it's kind of crazy, because my sugar started dropping again, and which is not good. And this time around, I passed out quite a bit before, but this time around I started passing out, and I've had a big old knot on my head. I've busted my nose. I've had a little, gash in my, side of my head. So there's a little bit more things going on with me on this one. So my doctor decided that we were going to, and this is not my primary care doctor, this is my endocrinologist, working with me with my sugar and my diabetes. So someone just to say, going through your primary care doctor, that's just not, no. I'm actually going to a diabetes doctor, an endocrinologist, and we have changed my medication, and I am now on the Mounjaro, and I have read all the side effects. I've read people's side effects, that they've been having, and this, the struggles that they have taking it, especially, then they're taking low doses, okay? Now, the Ozempic, I was at the 2.5, which is the highest milligram on that one. And I never had any side effects with that, the Ozempic either. So I started taking the Mounjaro, and I've been on it for 3 weeks now, and have no side effects. And I'm actually taking 10 milligrams. I'm not starting out at the 2.5 that most people take it, to lose weight. Because like I said, I'm not taking it to lose weight. I'm taking it for my sugar levels and for my diabetes. And I haven't had any side effects at all. I haven't, I don't know. I mean, the only difference of taking it is, the pen. It's like for right now, it's just one dose is in one pen, and kind of it's odd to me because I've taken the Ozempic, and you have the little dials, and you can take it for so many times or whatever. But this one right now is just the one pen, and sometimes it hurts when it goes in. I won't lie, but it's not the kind of hurt you think. It's like how you kind of get stung by a little bit, like an ant, and it's like, ow. It's that kind. It's weird. It doesn't. I don't know. But I mean, it only happened once, and the other two times I've done it, it's been fine. And it's just trying to figure out exactly where I want to do it. If I want to do it in my leg, my arm, my stomach. I always did my Ozempic in my leg or my stomach. So, because like I said, when I do my insulin, I do my insulin in my stomach or my arm. I used to do it in my leg, but I decided just to start doing it in my stomach or my arm. But now that I'm on the Mounjaro, my sugar levels are pretty good. They're kind of leveled out, and I'm like in the high 80s and 90s, in low 90s. So that's a good thing for me. Most people would say, like, why are you saying that's a good thing? That I'm like, y'all don't understand. That's good, because when I drop, I don't need to be anything lower than that, because when I do drop, I drop so fast that it's scary. And so if I'm in the 70s or low 80s, I can drop within a second, and I can be in the 50s and 60s real quick and pass out. So yeah, no, you don't want to do that. And that's where I've gotten to the point where I've gotten, busted my nose, cut on my head. So yeah, that's something you don't want. But now that I'm getting this all worked out, and things will have to probably change again, because I'm probably going to be having some major surgery again, and this time it's to help with my acid reflux, and because my acid reflux is so bad. And my doctor, Dr. Roshak, which he is the one who did my gastric sleeve, being with him, he had ordered me to go in and have a scope and an upper GI done. I had both of those done, and he did a biopsy, and the biopsy came back that I had, which is called Barrett's, and I had never heard of it, but I'm fixing to read what it says it is. And it says Barrett's esophagus is a condition where the tissue lining, the lower esophagus, becomes damaged by chronic acid reflux and changes to become similar to the lining of the intestines. While not cancer, it is a precancerous condition that increases the risk of developing esophagus cancer. So with that, and talking to Dr. Roshak, we have decided that it's going to be best for me to have this other surgery, which is from having a revision, which is a gastric sleeve to a gastric bypass. And do I want it? No. But I need it, because I don't want to get esophagus cancer. And when they do this surgery, they're going to fix my hernia, which is right in my stomach and my esophagus area. And I'm hoping that, it fixes my reflux. He says it should fix my reflux, because the acid should not be able to come back up because of the bypass and how it travels and stuff, because of them switching everything around. So it is a little bit more invasive surgery. I think that's the word. Because of them having to reroute my stomach and, everything, and where the acid reflux goes. But I'm to the point where anything that can help me not have this burning sensation in my throat and in my nose when it comes up, and waking up in the middle of the night where I almost want to throw up because it's sitting in, it's nasty. I mean, it's like the word and the taste that you have in your mouth all the time. I constantly chew gum. I know you're not supposed to do that all the time, but I do because it helps with just the taste in my mouth. And gum's not good for your acid reflux. So just so y'all know. But I do it because I don't want that taste. It's like a metallic taste in my mouth. And it's ugh. But anyway, moving on from that. So, but with that, yes, I am having the surgery. I just don't know when. We're just waiting on insurance, hopefully to be approved, and see what, where to go from that, and to go forward. Because when it does, it starts, putting things, in perspective for me on what I need to do, and just to get the ball rolling with, scheduling and with my family, and because I know I'm going to need help. And I'm the type of person that does not like to ask for help. And let me tell you, even after when I had my gastric sleeve done, when my dad was still alive, my husband was home for a week. After he left, it was me. I didn't want help, and that was just me. But I took care of my dad and lifting him and doing everything, which I probably shouldn't have been doing. Putting him in his wheelchair, helping him in and out of the car, picking up his wheelchair, putting it in the car, taking it out. That, those are things you're not really supposed to be doing after major surgery, but I was. And I mean, my husband was here and he did help, while he was here, and it was probably, I'd say a week and a half he was here, and which was great because it really helped me to recover, mentally also, to be able to do stuff, because I got to the point after like the third or fourth day, I was ready to start doing things again, and but that's my mindset, but I couldn't. I had to stop and slow down, but now with this one, I know I'm going to need a little bit more help, because the first one, I wasn't in the hospital. It was a day surgery. This one, they say I could be in the hospital a day or two. So I don't know exactly how all of this is going to go. And I really don't know how this is going to affect my sugar. And that's going to be something I have to really watch after having this surgery, because it can make my sugar start dropping again, and we have to figure out, do we need to change medication again, or do we need to up the medication? How do we need to do stuff to help? Because I don't understand the whole thing with all this medication and sugar levels and stuff like that, because most people I know that take diabetes medicines, they're taking it because their blood sugars are so high, so they have to bring it down. And I'm taking blood sugar medicine to help me keep it up. And I didn't realize, that was a deal, an issue. But that's me. I do the opposite. And, and that, like I said, that's being hypoglycemic. And it's funny because my one of my uncles is the same way, and he loves it. He goes, because I'll just go drink a Dr. Pepper or go drink or eat candy bars or whatever, and I'm like, that's not fixing it. That's putting it. That's even worse, and stuff, because that's spiking your sugar, and when you spike it, it drops. And well, it does mine. I do have stuff in my purse and stuff like that, because when it starts to get low, they have those little glucose tablets and stuff that you can take, And I was told to, if you don't want to always have those, and always have Smarties in your purse, because that's the same thing as one of those glucose tablets. So we bought Smarties, and let me tell you, I use those Smarties. And so it's not one of those things I take, eat sweets or anything like that to spike my sugar. I do it sometimes to regulate my sugar, and it's just to get it up enough to where I'm okay until I can eat, because even when I eat, my sugar can drop right afterwards. And I can eat, I don't have to eat anything that's going to spike my sugar. I mean, I can go and have a steak, I say you go to the steakhouse and I get a steak, and I get a vegetable, which I usually get broccoli, steamed broccoli. And I don't usually get potatoes because of the starches and stuff like that, because that spikes my sugar. But sometimes it's also good for my sugar. And if I do get it, I may take only a few bites of it. So I'm not, my sugar is pretty good. It's sitting at 125, 130. I haven't spiked it up, but guess what? It drops so fast. And that's always been my issue. But being on the Ozempic, it helped it. And I was so happy that it helped. And now that I'm on the Mounjaro, it's starting to help, where the Ozempic stopped helping. So I'm hoping this is something that, that it keeps going and it works. And I'm hoping that even after the surgery, that I don't have those issues again. I could, and I'm not saying, that I won't, and I'm not saying I will. So it's just one of those things. But I know this video is a little long, but I wanted to kind of come on here and talk to you about what's going on in my health, and maybe it'll help you. I will give more updates when I find out, especially when my insurance, approves everything and I'm able to set a date. I'll let y'all know. I want to start trying to get on here and start doing stuff like this, because I do my scripture a day, and I love that, because that's something that's me and God, and me trying to get the word out about the gospel and stuff. But I also want to get on here and be able to reach somebody that may need, help to the point of what they're going through, and nobody, they're like, nobody understands or whatever. I do. If I'm going through the same thing you're going through, and you've had the gastric sleeve, and now you're going to have a gastric bypass, or you're having sugar levels that are just outrageous, because, I've gone on these sites. I've gone on Facebook, where you get, you join these groups, and some of the groups I join, are for the 1.5 diabetes, and you get on there, and it's like they're not talking about what they're going through and their issues, and how things are, what's working for them. It's all about how do you get, I understand it, your medication cheaper and stuff like that. Just like even the Mounjaro or the Ozempic groups, that's all they talk about, is how do they get it cheaper. And those groups are there for, I thought they were there to help people that are struggling with what they're going through. I mean, I get the pricing and stuff it's there, but when the whole site is about that gets old, and I get tired of them, and I'm done with those groups. So I would rather just come on here. I want to start a YouTube channel. I'm still trying to figure all that out and how to do that. We will see how that goes. But that's something even my husband said. He goes, if you want to get on and start talking, start a YouTube channel, start that kind of stuff. And I'm like, let me pray about that. So I'm praying about it. and I believe that's where I'm going to be going towards. So look forward to that. But right now, I just wanted to come on here and let you know what's going on with my health. I will come back on and let y'all know exactly what's going on with my insurance and when the surgery will be. And I'm going to keep you updated on all that. And actually, depending on how everything goes, that might be part of what my YouTube is about at first, is what I'm going through with my sugar and my reflux. And then we'll go from there. And also, I will definitely be throwing in some scripture in there too. So just so you know. But with that, just want to say Jesus loves you, as I always do. So do I.